everybody.
Yeah. Good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Aderans UK Live. Hope you enjoyed the actual introduction of the new Noriko video.
We've been dancing.
Yeah, we were dancing and having a little bit of a boogie here. That's why you kind of caught us at that odd second when we were having a little bit of a private giggle. But you all know us well by now anyway, to know what we're both like.
Yeah.
Welcome to myself, Jane Kelly, and Bradley with me again this week. I was going to call you Mr. Webber, but let's call you Bradley.
You could call me anything at this point. We've had Barry.
I have called you some strange names.
We've had some strange names. So you should get the first letter right.
Yeah, always get the first letter right and just make something up.
Solid effort.
Yeah. Brad.
Just see what follows. Well, tonight we're here to talk about the Noriko collection, which you saw at the start of the introduction there, which was really quite lively. Really good.
It's a really good video they've done this time, I think, isn't it, really?
And we launched that on Tuesday this week, so yesterday.
Yeah. So it's hot off the block, really. You've got the new catalogue, which is available now.
It is, yeah.
So if you've not received one, if you'd like to receive one, just call our head office on 01273 774977, and we'll make sure we get that catalogue out to you. Everything's on our website.
It is, including the catalogue. So if you go to the brochure section, you can actually download and look through it whilst you're listening to us right now.
Brilliant. That's so much easier. So you'll be able to flick through it, have a look at the new styles, and we've got 3 beautiful new styles to actually show you. And there's also 3 new colours as well.
Which are really nice colours.
Which are great colours. We've got 2 of the new colours to show you this evening. One of them still hasn't actually quite arrived into our stock yet, so I'm missing one of them, but I'll be able to give you a really good description of those as we actually go through the evening. You can probably see behind us, we've got a little bit of something strange going on tonight. None of these are actually any of the new Noriko wigs, so I'll put those on heads and show them to you as we talk about each of the new styles. But we wanted to do something a bit fun for Halloween, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm a sucker for a theme.
Yeah. So, yeah, we do like a theme, don't we? So it's like, what can you do? How can you dress the wigs up? And these are just some of our wigs we've done in a few interpretations of what you could do with your own wigs for going out on Halloween if you've got parties this weekend coming up, because Halloween's on Sunday, isn't it?
It is.
But I think a lot of kind of celebrations probably be Saturday night moving through into Sunday. So yeah, have a look at what we've actually done, see if you can actually copy some of those. We're going to do another little styling session at some point this evening to show you a really easy one to do with your wigs as well that you might be able to actually copy. But some of these are actually quite fun, I think, that we've actually got behind us. Yeah, we did stop at the point of actually dressing ourselves up.
We did. We could have done it, but, you know, didn't want to scare anybody.
We might have lost a few viewers.
We may well have.
We might have gained a lot more.
Well, who knows? Different type of audience.
Very different type of audience if we were dressing up for Halloween. That's for sure.
Yeah, risky business.
Absolutely.
So, Jane, have you got a new favourite out of the 3 styles that we're going to look at tonight?
It's been one of those really difficult ones because we've got 2 styles, one quite short and 2, one shoulder length and one just below the shoulders. And I've kind of looked at them all. I've had a play around with them. On Monday night, I actually done a sneak preview to some of our trade accounts, so they knew what was actually coming out. And I do have, it's a toss-up between 2 of them, really. It's either going to be the short one, which is called Meadow, or, and I think my favourite is the Zen, which I'm really looking forward to at some point in the future styling this one and cutting it and doing some work with it, because I think you can really texturise this, get a lot more movement through it and do an awful lot of different things with it. So I think Zane is probably going to be my favourite, followed by Meadow and then by Harley as well. So we'll just wait and see what happens. We'll with everybody else's favourites as well. So it'd be quite interesting to look at the sales figures, say, in 2 weeks' time. Did you have a favourite?
I did, and it's actually the Zane, but I particularly like the seashell blonde colour in the Zane. I think the combination of that colour and that style works really nicely.
Absolutely beautiful.
And we have had a bucket load of calls.
Oh, have we?
Yes, absolutely. That's Brilliant. The one that everyone's interested in right now. So.
That new colour is, and I've got it here, I've actually got it in the meadow though. But this new colour, Seashell Blonde, is...
I like the name of that one.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It's a lovely name. And it conjures up just nice kind of thoughts, doesn't it, really? Yeah. You can be like sat on the ocean, really, sat on the beach, playing around with the sand and finding some lovely shells. The colour of it, I think, is absolutely stunning. I'll just bring it a little bit closer to the camera because I want you to see all those different tones that we've got going through it. To describe it, we've got almost, it's a silvery, greyish pink colours going through it. And it's like a bubblegum blonde. It's almost like a really, really very soft kind of candy floss blonde in places. And you put it into certain lights. And in certain lights, it actually reflects that you've got these real silver pieces going through it. And then that softness. It's almost like a pearl, really. If you were kind of looking at a pearl, or when you open one of those shells and you've got that pearlescent, you can say it for me, Bradley, pearlescent
This is
colours.
one of your words.
This is one of my words.
Pearlescent.
That's it. And it shimmers. And I think that's what you actually get with this wig. You can just see those colours that shimmer through.
I think it looks like an expensive peroxide blonde, because if you try and do that yourself at home,
it's going to go yellow,
very yellow, or it goes very matte, dull. Yeah. This is like you've spent a lot of money.
You've got a lot of condition in it.
Yeah.
And I think what is really great with this colour, particularly on this style, is this very, very short root.
Yeah.
It's not a long root anymore. We've had a lot of, pieces with long roots. Excuse me. A lot of pieces with long roots going on. But this is almost just a centimetre in length. So it's just creating that little bit of a smudge, really. And when you look at the back, when I move it around, you can almost see that depth of colour actually coming through.
I think it's really rock and roll, isn't it, this colour with the root? I quite like it. It's quite edgy.
I think it's great. I love the colour. For a new colour, I think this is going to be one of those colours that is going to be with us for quite a long time.
I hope so.
It's going to end up being one of those favourite blondes that everybody wants. And because of the different kind of soft colours, the different hues in it as well, it's going to go in most people's skin tones as well, because it'll pick up on those different skin tones of everybody. So I think it is great. The foundation on this one is, just so you know what you're getting, is just on a standard cap construction. So we've got a machine weft in it back. We've got our nape adjusters in that nape area, so you can take it in to make it tighter if you need to. And we've actually got the cap construction on the top as well.
And which style is this again, Jane? Is this the Meadow?
This is the Meadow, which is the shortest one out of the three new styles. What you will actually see, though, and on this, Bradley, we've got a piece of metal in this top section. So when you actually put it on, it's about 2.5 inches in length, maybe 6-7 centimetres, and it's actually quite bendy. You can see that I'm actually giving a little bit of a bend. So you'll be able to actually bend it around the contour of your forehead.
Right.
So you get a much better shape and a much better fit.
And what's that like to wear, Jane? Is it quite...
It's comfortable to wear.
Because if it moulds to your head, I would have thought it would make it feel a little more secure.
It feels very secure when it's on. That's a really good point to make. But I think when you actually put it on your head, because as all of you know, if you're wearing wigs, and people who are watching us, most of you actually do, or if you're new to actually wearing wigs, you've always got what we call a metal stay at the sides, and they bend in to the temple area. And this piece, so there we go, you can see it's got a wire in it because it just stays up on its own. Just bend it and shape it around the shape of your forehead, and it's going to give you that really nice contour. And I think when you look at the actual wig, you've got really quite a classic bob, but you've got that really beautiful tiny little fringe that we've put into it as well. And looking at these, and again, dying to get my scissors out on them as well, because this you could really do some quite good funky different looks with. You could bring a much heavier fringe into it if you wanted to. But again, on the other hand, if you wanted to actually create a lot more lift in texture through that top, just by cutting it and putting some texture and layers into it, you can really get that nice lift through the top and just feathering it off around the face. So it's one of those styles, I think, that you can do a lot with. I can't wait to actually be able to start cutting it.
Really nice layers coming through the front.
Got great layers, and when you actually look at those layers through the back, just look at that. How that just sits perfectly in to the nape of your neck, and you've got that softness of those layers coming down. And with this colour as well, the seashell blonde R, you just get that really subtle root just actually coming through. I love it. And this one, I think they're not having it back into stock, because I'm going to be cutting this one, I think, at some point. I'm going to be keeping this one to cut.
Just bring that into the centre and
see that a bit
show
better.
It a bit better in the light there.
Yeah, you can really see. Look at that colour coming through.
It's really lovely. As you said, you don't get that yellow tone that you get when you have real peroxide hair. It's very, very creamy and pearlescent and quite
really,
soft.
really soft. It's a very, very natural blonde.
Yeah, it is.
But as you said, it's a high-class blonde, isn't it, really? It's going to look great in all the short styles. It's going to look great in the longer styles as well. Great colour, easy to work with. And style-wise, that's the Meadow, which, I thought it was my second favourite, but it could be my first favourite now.
I think we've changed the direction.
Yeah, because you can do so much with this.
Well, we've had some messages come through about this already. Sharon says looks lovely. Kev says he loves the Harley. We have also had a message from Joel which says, I thought you had costumes on. Charming. Thanks for that. And
very kind.
Kay says, oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lovely first wig, I think.
Yeah, it's quite a nice little introduction to the
three new styles. I think that's going to sell really well. That colour is just going to sell out in a flash, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it is such a good.
So just to show you, that is actually, you probably saw in the video at the start, but that colour, when photographed, is actually on the front cover of our brochure there. So as you can see in daylight, it's still absolutely
beautiful,
lovely blonde colour.
Yeah. Yeah, and the images of it as well, when you look on the inside cover as well, are also really quite nice when you look at the main image.
Yeah.
And that one's been photographed in one of the other new colours, the bottom one.
Silverstone rooted.
Yeah, because the other new colour that Bradley's showing you now in the brochure, just at the bottom, is what we call Silverstone rooted. And Silverstone was one of our really, really popular grey shades. But now we've actually added a root to it. So we've got a really cool black root going through that colour, which makes it into a really trendy colour that people really like. And I think for those people who like grey, they like blonde hair as well, you're going to get the best of both worlds.
Well, what it does, I think, with that root is it makes it look like, people went with the big craze that's sort of still happening with people dyeing their hair grey. So it looks like your hair's not naturally grey.
Yeah.
So having that dark root, again, that's that edge, doesn't it?
It does make it a little bit more edgy.
It's a bit more youthful and playful as well, doesn't it?
And it looks as if you've done it on purpose.
Yeah.
Rather than you kind of have gone grey naturally, because you're never going to have that dark root by going grey naturally.
So what's next up, Jane? What's the next style we're going to look at?
The next one that we were going to look at would be what I thought was my first favourite, but I could be being swayed now to Meadow. So the next one is the Zane.
So this is my favourite.
And this was your favourite, Bradley, wasn't it? And this is in the melted marshmallow. So it's in one of our original colours. It is still a really popular colour. We've got that softness of the root, but then we've got that middle length and ends, which has got that real soft, creamy, blonde, pinky tones going through it, and that really bleached tipped ends to it, which I think coming out of summer, moving into autumn and going into winter, it could be that all your colours gradually been growing out, isn't it? Which works quite well. The foundation of the Zane is slightly different to the Meadow, which is fantastic. It's got what we call a lace parting and a lace front area. So that means with that you can take your fringe away from your face, you can tuck it behind your ears, and you're not going to see any of the foundation or any hard lines of the actual wig. On the opposite side to the parting, we've still got our cap construction. And in true Noriko style, because Noriko wigs are really well known for giving lift in body and all that bounce that we actually like in our hair. So it's just like you've been to the hairdressers, had your hair blow dried, and you've got all that beautiful bounce to it. So we still get that lift in body that we require. But if we just pop the Zane on, this really is, again, it's keeping it to that bob shape, but we're going into a much longer bob. And you've got what I actually think is really nice. You've got a really nice side fringe. You can take more of the fringe into it if you wanted to make it a little kind of, you know, a little peekaboo fringe if you wanted. Keep it long, and then you can just wear some clips in it if you're working and you want to keep the fringe out of your eyes when you're actually working. You can do that quite easily, because there's nothing worse when you're working, you keep flipping your hair away from your face. So a little clip would actually just do that trick for you. But what we've actually got is this really nice soft layer just going through the ends of it, so it's nicely tethered through the ends. But my favourite little bit on the actual back, and you can see this yourself, if I just take the head off a second, you can see that movement. It just moves as you're actually walking along and bouncing up and down. The hair just moves with you, and you've got that extra layer just put through the top. It comes down to almost the nape of the actual neck, and then you've got the under layer. But I think that layer through the top, it just makes the hair move on it so much nicer. And again, if you wanted to put more layers through it, you can use that as a guideline to put more layers through the hair. And you've just got that softness just coming around all the time that you can play with. You can actually keep it quite smooth, so you've got that real classic bob look, or you can really ruffle the hair up, put some products through it, and you can actually create a really nice kind of windswept bob with a lot of movement to it as well.
I think that's what I really liked about it, Jane. I really like as well that you can kind of have that mysterious...
Yeah, keeping it over one eye, isn't it?
Gabrielle, 95, you know.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, as you can see, we've taken it from being quite smooth to actually fluffing it up a little bit. And I think I prefer this one a little bit more messy.
Yeah.
With that little bit more movement to it.
You've almost given her the Rachel.
Yes.
The Rachel.
It is really, isn't it?
It's the Rachel from Friends.
Yeah. So that works, I think, really quite well for a lot of people, and it's a good length because it's just sitting on your shoulders. It's not too long.
Yeah.
It's not too short as well. So it still feels quite soft, and it actually feels quite feminine as well, I think, Bradley.
It does look really nice in this colour as well, Jane. I think the root really does add some depth to it.
Definitely. And I think colour as always, plays a huge part, doesn't it, in the different wigs that we actually sell, in the wigs that people choose to actually buy, because colour really will emphasise that cut. And where you've got those really lighter tips on the ends where it's really bleached out, that colour, and then the depth of the root. And I think it allows this wig, I think you need it to be slightly more messy. In the catalogue, as pictured on the front, is actually quite smooth.
It is.
And quite neat, which looks lovely. But if you're wearing it daily and you're out doing your shopping, the school run, taking the kids to school, or whatever you're doing, taking the dog for a walk, it's going to actually get ruffled. And it looks great both ways, I think. I think it's a really nice addition to the collection.
I do too.
That they've actually done with this. Really, really good. And another nice one that...
I think the curvature of the fibre, the way that it all sits around really
just
nicely,
bends,
is lovely, isn't it?
It's just like it's been blow dried with a big brush, and you've just got that little bit of oomph to your hair. And again, if you wanted to take that shorter around the face, you could, just with a razor, just slice some of that hair through, so you've got it a little bit more feathered around the face as well. So you've got lots of options, I think, with this one. And I think that's always the important thing, really, Bradley, with a wig, is to see what you can do with it and what options you've got, because you don't want to always keep it looking exactly the same. So it's actually quite nice to actually change it up a little bit and change what you actually do with your hair. Again, you can actually brush it all going back. There's so many different bits that you can do with this. And if you wanted, you can always take it into a very low pony as well.
There's enough hair there.
There's enough hair there that you can just get that into a low pony as well, if you actually wanted to. So yeah, the Zane. So that was your favourite. It was my favourite, and I'm kind of torn between the Meadow and the Zane, really.
Which leaves only one style remaining in this collection.
Does leave only the one out of our new ones. And we've got another new colour as well to show, of course. Shall we do the new colour first or the new style?
Let's do the new colour first.
The new colour first.
We like the colours.
Because the new colour, this particular new colour is in the same style as we've looked at, the Meadow. So we're back to our short one again. But I'll just move my head out of the way. Well, not actually mine, but...
She's lost her head.
Yeah, it's been beheaded today. This is a new colour. It's called Desert Sand R. And it's got a natural blend of really warm, rich brown tones going through it. So you've got the rich brown, you've got the coolness of the blonde going through there as well. So you've got those really soft, sandy shades. And if you kind of think about the colour, it says desert sand, and it is almost as if you're in the desert, really. Looking at, if you're in a sand dune and you're looking at all the different tones that you get through the sands, then that is exactly what you get with that colour. And again, you've got that tiny, tiny little smudge of a root, which I'm loving, just that centimetre. It's enough just to break up the colour, I think. Instead of having really long roots, I think it's just enough to actually break it up. And I think for somebody who maybe they're a brunette, but they're thinking about trying to go to that lighter shade, it's a good one tone-wise to actually do, because you'll be able to go lighter with this as well. And also for those blondes who are thinking about going slightly darker and slightly warmer for the winter, it would be a good one for all of you blonde people out there. So just bring that colour up and you're going to be able to see all those lovely shades of sand in browns and blondes just running through that colour.
I think the nice thing about this one is it's such a dual colour, as you said. It's like it's not a blonde, it's not a brunette. Well, it is. Well, it could arguably be either, but you can match that with anything.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you've got a brunette and they want to go lighter, they want to play around with colour a bit, that's the kind of shade you want to take them to before you start going into your really light blondes. And alternatively, if you've got somebody who's blonde and they're thinking about experimenting with brunette colours and going darker, if you put somebody in a really dark wig like a cappuccino or even just a medium brown, they're going to actually feel as if their hair's black, even though it's not. That's the feel they're going to get. Whereas this, you're kind of halfway between, really. It's going to actually tone down all the blondness for them, but it'll actually, you still got that richness as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's nice about it, because you've got these nice, rich tones that you can actually just pick out as well, which is lovely. So, yeah, a great third new colour, isn't it?
It really is. It's very versatile.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm feeling a bit biased because looking on the screen, it pretty much looks the same colour as my hair.
It's quite like you, isn't it?
But
It is actually.
so thanks for all the lovely things you said about my hair colour just now.
Yeah, you never knew it was.
I never knew
so,
it was so exciting. But no, it's a really, really nice one. I imagine with like it's good in the summer as well as in the winter.
Yeah, and I think what it is, it's like a nice natural colour.
Yeah.
As well. Because you could go for like the seashell blonde, but that is so obviously it's not a natural colour.
Yeah.
It's a colour that has actually been put on and you've coloured your hair to actually achieve that. But this could almost be somebody's natural tones, really. For all of you lovers out there of like the light chocolate, that is one of the colours that have been in our collections for a long, long time now, for 20 years plus. This is kind of your modern version of a light chocolate. So you want to actually, change your hair up a bit, not wanting to be too drastic from what you've been wearing, and that would actually suit the bill completely, really.
Definitely.
Which is a great colour.
It is.
Really nice colour.
So,
which is great.
Let's look at the last style, Jane.
And we've got our last style to actually look at, which is the Harley, which we've left the longest one to last. Again, it's the same foundation as what the Zane had. So we've got our parting area and we've got our lace front. So a lace front and a lace parting. And that's all in one as well. So there's no connecting seams that you're going to actually see. If you wanted to take your hair away from your face, if I just bring that a little bit closer to the camera, you're going to be able to see how natural that really is when you actually take the hair away, which again is a really good feature.
Oh my!
I think
it's
when
probably
you've got
one
a
of
lace
the most
front.
popular features people look for.
Yeah.
At the moment is the lace parts within a wig, but as you'll know, they're not always necessary. If you've got a fringe, you certainly don't necessarily
If you've got a fringe, you don't need a lace parting at all. And I think it's that thing, the internet can be one of our biggest friends, or be one of our biggest enemies as well. People, and we all research on the internet all the time. For different things, it could be anything to do with the household, it could be anything to do with different subjects that we might actually be researching. And when you're looking at wigs, a lot of you, if you haven't worn wigs before, completely new, you might go onto the internet and you'll read a lot of things about lace front, silk tops, and you've got all these different kind of questions that you'll be asking yourself, why do I need that? Is it really important to have that? And I think that's why when you're first looking at wigs, if it's at all possible, go into one of our salons.
Yeah, definitely.
Where you can actually go and get that personal advice and help, because they're going to be able to show you all the different foundations. They're going to be able to help you with everything. And from there, it's quite easy then to actually buy off our own website.
It is. Education's key with all of this kind of stuff. And I feel like as well, you can waste a lot of money on features within a wig that are not necessary for you to have. So it's better to be advised on what you actually need rather than think, lace fronts, that means it's great, because it doesn't necessarily.
It's not always the answer to everybody.
No.
I would say lace front wigs are beautiful, lace partings are beautiful, but again, it depends what you're going for.
Yeah.
So if you can, pop in and see us, All our consultations are completely free of charge. There's no kind of hard sell at all in any of our salons.
No.
So you can just pop in, have a chat, and also just have a feel of the fibres.
Yeah.
I mean, Bradley's, we've been doing this for quite a while now, isn't it? And Bradley does all our sales and marketing, so he knows everything there is to do with wigs and everything else. But he might not have always actually have handled them and touched them.
No.
But now, with doing this on a Wednesday together, you get to look and play with the wigs a lot more.
Well, we all
isn't it?
know when you see something in a photograph and you buy it on the internet, it's not necessarily what you're expecting when it turns
No, when
up.
you buy that dress or that shirt, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. The material things are made of can really be make or break as to whether you love it or not. So it's really good to get hands on with a piece.
and I think we're all those kind of people that we like to touch.
Of course.
And you like to feel, because you want to feel what the fabric feels like. Same with wigs, you want to actually feel what the actual hair.
Well, how many times a day do you
feels
think
like.
you touch your own hair, Jane? Think of it like that. How many times? Are you going to be doing that with a wig? You want to make sure it's a...
Yeah, and you
a
probably
nice-
do. I thought you were going to tell me how many times we, on average,
No,
we normally do.
I don't have
I thought
that
you had a
fact
fact
to
then
head.
for me.
It's not in my mind.
But no, it's like, it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
it's true.
you're always fiddling with it all the time and constantly we're touching things. So yeah, make that effort. Try to actually find that right product for you, or to get that little bit of help in the beginning, isn't it, really? When you're first looking at wigs, because it's a completely new thing for people, really, when they are looking at wigs.
We've got a question here, Jane, speaking of the wigs from tonight. Does this one come in different cap sizes?
Right, okay, with the Noriko collection, they all come on the same head size, apart from 3 of the styles. So they all come on an average head size of about a 54 centimetre circumference. And the ones that actually come on a large cap size, which is a 57.5 centimetre circumference,
We've got
is
the Sky, the Angelica, and
the Reese. Thank you. Yeah, so we've got those 3. So all classic styles that have been in the collection for a long time. So we've got 3 in a large head size. All the others are on an average head size of about a 54. If you are looking for a wig that you need to be petite, maybe you've got a petite head size, I'd always advise you head across to look at our Centu collection. So you've got Centu Premium and Centu Lotus, and some of those wigs do come in a petite head size. So there is something for everybody in the actual collections. Also, you know, if you've loved one of the Noriko styles, but it was going to be a little bit big for you, again, if you bought that through one of our salons, they'd probably be able to actually adjust it and change that shape for you as well, to actually alter it and make it smaller. So this one's the Harley, and this is just sitting below the shoulders, really. It's the Zane was just sitting on the shoulders, which was nice. This one's just a little bit longer. It's got the really soft layers for a nice, it's like an outgrown bob, I think, is the best way to actually describe it. You've got those much longer layers coming through, just soft and flicky on the actual ends.
So I've got a little fact here for you, Jane, that Kev has very kindly given to us.
Go on then.
According to the internet, we touch our hair 96 times a day on average.
Do we really? Oh, thanks, Kev. 96 times.
Yeah. So that's how important it is that you've got fibre that you like the feel of.
That is really important. I knew somebody would come back and tell us, or a little question, or a little answer. Okay, if somebody's come up with that answer, then
You're going to try and bite back now with a question.
Yeah, I've got a little question for you. Because it's Halloween, isn't it?
It is.
So I thought I'd have a few little questions to throw out there.
Right.
Not many, but, you know, I did maybe get
them.
a bit carried away on my research today, really. The first one, and this is just quite an interesting fact, really, before we actually come back to Harley, is trick and treating, when was it actually banned? It was banned at a particular time in history. And do you know when it was banned and for what reason?
No.
Really interesting, and
I had no idea it had been banned.
yes, it had been banned, and it was banned for a particular reason. It was actually banned during World War II.
Why?
By the United States government, and also by our government as well, because there was a shortage of sugar.
Oh.
And
Okay.
Halloween is candy, isn't it?
It is.
You all got to go and collect your candy and all your sweets, and there was a shortage of sugar, so it was actually banned during World War II. It's quite interesting, really.
I wonder if that's because of the candy, or whether it's because once you've had so much sugar, you then need more sugar.
Because you need more sugar. No,
It just keeps it going.
because they didn't have the sugar
They have no
to
sugar
actually,
to give you.
yeah, they didn't have any sugar to actually make the candy.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it was actually banned during that time.
There would have been a lot of tricks that year rather than treats then.
There wouldn't have been many treats.
Probably didn't need more damage made to.
Yeah, there wouldn't have been many. And this is a very interesting fact as well. Let me just tell you this one quickly. On average, kids who do trick or treat would bring home a bag of candies. So they get a great big fat bag of candies and sweets. I mean, we all put them outside our front doors, don't we? And the kids come knocking, or if you're not in, you just put a great big dish outside with all the sweets. How many calories do you think their bags of candies are actually worth?
Oh my God.
This is what they actually collect. And this is quite astounding. I mean, those kids are going to need a serious dental treatment, I think, and actually a lot of apples to actually put right the wrong what they've actually done with their little bodies.
5,000?
More.
More
More than
Wow.
5, yeah.
And that's purely from the sugar, isn't it? 'Cause
Purely
it's
from the
nothing.
sugar, yeah.
How many?
11,000 calories.
What?
So can you imagine? I mean,
The average man
That's
only
what
has to
you eat.
consume, like, I don't eat 11.
is that what you've got to eat in a day, man?
No.
Oh, how
It's
many
like
do men
3.
eat? Oh, 3.
Between 2.5 and 3, I think.
Oh.
Sugar. And a woman's even less.
Yeah, so imagine 11, and most of those kids probably eat most of those sweets. They consume them on the way home,
That's
isn't it?
like your week's worth of calories.
Yeah,
Wow.
incredible. But it's when we do things like this.
You're trying to get Halloween banned for a second time here. She's starting a rebellion.
Yeah, when we do things like this, we kind of actually, or I look into it and start getting all these facts, don't I?
Yeah, but
And then
I
I
love
go,
it.
did you know this about Halloween, or did you know that? And it's quite weird things that we actually
Well, you just do these
find
things and you
out.
don't think about it, do you? It's just part of
and it's
culture.
things actually, everybody listening tonight, thank you. You're all probably thinking, oh, I never knew that.
No.
And it's something you're going to actually quote at work tomorrow or quote to somebody else.
Well, give us one more. Go on.
Go on then. I'll give you another one. What is the fastest time? You don't need to tell me his name because that's quite difficult. But what is the fastest time somebody has ever carved a pumpkin in?
I don't think anyone would know.
And
this.
he's got the world record for it as well.
There's a world record.
Yeah, there is. Of course, there's a world record for everything, Bradley.
Okay. What is the fastest time?
16 seconds.
The whole thing.
Yeah, that's fast.
What do you do with like a chainsaw?
Yeah, I mean, I struggle to just go around the top bit, first of all. And then you've got to
Turkey
skip the
carver,
inside
like-
out. Yeah, 16 seconds.
Wow.
So that's quite...
Does he still have all of his fingers intact?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Not how accident prone I tend to
Oh my
actually be.
goodness,
Not at
no.
all.
Wow. Okay.
One last one for a minute then,
Go
before
on,
we go back
let's
to
do
the
it.
Harley, because we should be talking about the Harley. In the film Halloween, and people of a certain age will always remember that film, won't they? It's got to be one of the scariest films in all time, I think. The knife that made the sound effects, so when they were like stabbing,
Yeah.
what were they using to actually make those sound effects?
What were they?
So it was a stabbing noise, and it was like a squelch, wasn't it? When you stab someone. Not that I've stabbed anybody, so I don't know. But yeah.
Guys, you do.
Watch it, Bradley.
You heard it here first. I'm going to say it's got to be a very wet fruit or something, because I've seen them do this kind of thing before. I'm going to go with a watermelon.
Yeah.
It was.
It was a watermelon. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can imagine the mess, can't you, behind the scenes where they're actually making all this noise, isn't it, to get this watermelon to all squelchy and yeah.
It's clever though, isn't it? Because you probably still do things like that in films all the time.
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
I didn't realise it.
Yeah. That's somebody's job to find out how to actually recreate that sound.
Well, hopefully you've never heard that sound to begin with, so you've just got.
Yeah, how do you recreate it?
How do I know what it sounds like to stab someone?
Yeah, so back to our Harley. So just got a nice natural body to this wig. It's got that nice little bit of movement just sitting onto your shoulders as well, which is really quite nice. I think it's kind of one of those styles. It just gives you that little bit of boost of confidence just to wear your layers a little bit longer and maybe a little bit more sophisticated. Again, you've got that heavy side fringe that you can actually keep, which is quite nice. You can actually just take that back, again, put a clip in it. You can do all sorts of things with these long fringes, or just cut it a little bit shorter as well. So being the slightly longer one is, I think, quite a classic looking style, really. You've got a nice lot of length that you can actually play with. You can actually almost do like a half up, half down style with it if you wanted to, taking some of that fringe away. You could always just have a little under fringe cut through that little section just on the underneath as well, Bradley, which I think would work quite well with it. So quite a nice style for the actual longest one, and it's not going overly long either.
No.
Because I think sometimes when we go too long, you think you've got to be of a certain age to actually wear it, but this kind of length can actually be worn really by any age group.
Very versatile, isn't it?
Depending on the actual colour that you actually have. Again, it's got enough length that you can always just pop it up with a clip as well. If you're going to wear your hair up, always make sure it's softer in that nape area, but you've got enough length that you can actually do that with as well. So that's our three new styles.
Three really lovely new shades.
Three great new colours. Two of them that you've actually seen here this evening. Excuse me, I know Bradley's got his favourite.
Yeah.
I've definitely got my favourite as well now. Well, I've got two favourites, I think, or maybe just one. And we've both got a favourite colour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sadly, we've both got the same favourite colour.
We have, but I'm not going to fight you for it.
Yeah. But they're great styles, great colours, and great wigs for you to actually try. Go and have a little look at them, or just order them in and actually try them, isn't it? Because they are great new styles and a good addition to the Noriko collection, I think. Really good ones.
Well, Jane, we've got about 5 minutes before we have to say goodbye. Do you want to very quickly show us?
Shall we do a quick Halloween?
Sort of spider webby
thing.
And I will move out of the way.
Oh, you're okay there.
You sure?
Yeah, and then as I'm doing it as well, you can always talk about our
so
trade show.
We have, for the first time this year, we're taking our trade show, which is usually exclusively for existing trade customers. We're taking it digital because we know, COVID cases are rising. It's possibly not the best time to invite people to come in the masses. It may not be something that you really want to do or feel comfortable with at the moment. So we're taking our trade event online. I've got a little poster here just to show you. So on the 28th of November, we want anybody to join us who'd be interested in potentially working with us, in working with wigs, learning more about wigs. It's basically it, isn't it, Jane?
Yeah.
It's just anybody that's interested in what we do or potentially working in the way that we do.
Yeah, it's kind of come along. Well, join us live.
Join us digitally.
Join us virtually that day. We're going to be looking at all the collections of wigs from all the different collections. So it's going to be quite exciting. We're also going to be looking at some new things that will be coming out in the future. So it's little teasers for you as well. And we're going to have live demos throughout the day as well. So there's lots actually going on.
Yeah, it'll be really interactive. It'll be quite different to what we do with you on a Wednesday evening. You get to see a bit more behind the scenes of how our webinars work.
How we do things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everything really. So it'll be a great event. If you're thinking of working with wigs in the future, come along.
Come along and join us.
Join us digitally.
See what we can do. Okay, everybody, what I've done, I've just taken the 2 sections from the actual front, and I've just put a little bit of a band around there to hold them out of the way. And I've actually taken the back into the ponytail. Now I've actually got it that far, I'm just going to actually take a straw. So a little straw I'm going to just take, and
where's that going, Jane? Is
it's
it through the ponytail?
It's going through the ponytail. It's just sitting in there quite happily for me.
Okay.
Then with the 2 front sections, just take my band out, and I'm just going to actually take a piece of hair from one side, pass it underneath the actual straw. Take a piece of hair on the opposite side, smooth it down, and just pass it over the straw like that. So they're crossing over. This is something you can do on your own. You could actually, do it on your daughter's hair. You can get your friend to do it for you. It's something I just wanted to show you that is quite easy to do. It's not a difficult one for anybody to actually do themselves. But you actually get quite a nice effect with it. So again, just pass that over. Take another section, pass it over. Take one more section on this side. Whoa. And pass it over again. Take my last section from that side. And my last section from this side. So
it goes behind
the actual straw every time. So it's been going just there behind the actual straw. Once you've done that, grab hold of the hair that you've taken over, take them underneath. So they've gone underneath your ponytail. Take your straw out and grab yourself another small band and tie that hair up so it doesn't actually undo on itself. And then what you can do is just loosen that hair out, so it's almost just as if it's been wrapped around ever so slowly. And then what you can do, and there's lots of different things you can, get lots of different decorations to put into your hair now. If you wanted to give it a little bit of sparkle, you can put in your little pins as you go through, and that would just actually emphasize that little crossing over. And as it's Halloween, we just wanted to finish that top off with our little Halloween hat, and I think we've got a little pumpkin that can go in there, or we can put a pumpkin on the hair. So just gives you a really simple Halloween effect.
So it's like a loose
It is like a loose
web
plait.
of hair.
But
really.
yeah, but it's literally just passing one over and then passing the other one over. So for a simple, effective plait to do, it's really, really easy. And everybody can actually do it. Because when you're actually trying to do French braiding and French plaits, you've got 3 pieces of hair and you're passing them over and under, and it can all get a bit confusing on your own. But doing something like this, it can just give you a little bit more of a grown-up look for actually going out for Halloween. If you've got long hair, and just really easy to do. Cool. Just finish it off with a little hat.
You also did this piece up here, didn't you? Which is really impressive.
Yep, done the one at the back, the red one. I actually like the actual head, that we've got on there.
Very cool.
That's my absolute favourite when I found that online. I kind of fell in love with the twigs. That was really nice. But again, that was really quite a simple effect to do for that hair. And then we've got one which is quite curly and just twisted up. And then this is one of our Muse collection.
Collections are perfect, aren't they, for Halloween?
That's the velvet waves, and the colour of it is just perfect as well because it's in that midnight stone. Yeah. So it is that really kind of witch kind of colour, isn't it? Really,
it is.
Which
works really well.
Really great. So yeah, it's not too late to actually come and maybe order a new wig for Halloween if you want something a little bit more party-like, or if you just want a nice new wig to actually play around with, isn't it?
There's still time. Delivery window is still very much open.
And actually, if you can all come to our trade fair, it'd be really
anybody that's interested in doing so, check out on Facebook and Instagram. We've got a little more info for you there. Otherwise, you can drop us an email at trade, so that's TRADE @trendco.co.uk, and a member of our customer service team will get back to you with any information you may require or answer any questions that you have. But the date for that is the 28th of November, and we hope to see you there. I'll be there. You'll be there.
I'll be there. Yep.
There'll be some other friends that you've not met yet.
Yeah, got other people who's going to be there as well, popping in to see us. So that'll actually be nice.
Be
and all they need is a QR code, isn't it, Bradley?
So I mean, if we've got a poster here, if you're interested in joining, there is a QR code if you see one of these posters. If not, just drop us an email. We add you to the list, and then we'll send you out our secret entry code.
Yep, to actually join.
So you can join us. It's all on Zoom as well, so you've probably got that.
And how soon will they get their entry details, Bradley? Will
They'll
it be
get
the
it
day before?
They'll get it a couple of days before the event starts. Okay. It'll be emailed to you.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in joining us, then please do. We'd love to see you there.
And we'll also, before the actual event starts, we'll have a running order of the day as well.
We'll send you.
So you know roughly when the live demos are going to be if you're interested in those. So you'll be able to just pop in and out as you actually want to.
Yeah.
Or it'd be a good day for you to just sit down in front of your PC all day and get your husband to cook lunch. Get somebody else doing your work for you.
What a dream.
Yeah, but no, it'd be a great show, I think.
Yeah, really well.
Most definitely.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Wow, Jane, thanks so much for showing us.
Thank you, Bradley.
Talking us through the caps as well. It's always helpful to know how the wigs are going to feel as well as how they're going to look.
I think it's important actually the inside is so much, it's not more important than the outside because visually it's how we actually look.
Yeah.
And how we look makes us feel so much more confident. But I think at the end of the day, it's important to actually feel comfortable. And if that wig feels comfortable on the inside for you as well. Yeah. So that's a really important factor, I think, to actually feel quite comfortable on the actual inside. And one last little fact, Bradley, before we go.
All right, run for the road.
Run for the road, as they actually say. And let me choose one for you. There were so many, tonight that it was like, which ones do I actually give? Where in the world is the biggest Halloween parade? Where does it actually happen? Where does it take place?
It's got to be in the United States.
Yep.
It's either in Florida or
You'd think,
it's
wouldn't
in
you?
Massachusetts where Salem is. I feel like that's a real Halloween.
Well, I think a lot of people go there for the weekend, don't they? They go, like, not to reenact things, that would be a bit scary, but they go there because it's all the witches and everything else, isn't it?
Reenact the witch trials of hanging people.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh, right, great. Where is it then?
It's actually in Greenwich Village, in New York City.
Wow.
And they get at least 50,000 people actually attend the actual parade every year, which is an incredible amount of people.
That's a huge amount of people.
Yeah.
All in fancy dress, I'm sure.
Well. Yeah, I'd imagine so in America, because they're actually big into all that, isn't it, really?
Absolutely wild.
But yeah, absolutely crazy. Yeah, and I mean, we always thought kind of Halloween and all this came over from America, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We've always said that, and we were talking earlier, weren't we, about the origins of it and where it came from, and actually it originated from Ireland. So it was the Irish where it actually originated from, because of the Celts going back like 2,000 years. So originated from them, and then it was the Irish when all the immigrants went across to America, took that celebration over there with them.
And they used to use, what was it, rather than pumpkins?
Turnips.
Turnips. They used to carve a turnip.
Yeah.
So we've really scaled that up with a pumpkin once we got to the States.
Lots of turnips in Ireland, and they used to carve those, but once they got to the States, there was loads of pumpkins and they were easier, so they moved on to pumpkins. But yeah, last fact for the evening, everybody.
Well, thank you so much.
Could go on.
We've chewed these guys' ears off now for an hour. I think we should let them go.
I think it's bedtime.
I think it is bedtime.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I hope everybody has enjoyed tonight and likes the new styles. We love them. The new colours are fantastic.
We love it, yeah.
And I think we'll be seeing more of that come through in other styles, I'm sure, over the next couple of years, because I think they'll be very popular.
Definitely, I think. Yeah. Yeah, those lovely soft colours coming through.
Yeah. So check out the Noriko collection over on the website. If you want to get hands-on with the styles, visit your local salon or arrange to visit your local salon. Yeah, pop in and make an appointment with us. Yeah. Be lovely to see all of you anyway. Absolutely. And we're back in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time, yes. Yeah. And I can't remember what we're doing. I've got a feeling it might be... Let's not say, in case it's the wrong thing. Yeah, no, I know. Don't want to get people excited. I know what I'm doing in 2 weeks' time for trade, so I don't know if it's something similar or completely different. I don't think it is. Yeah. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. 2 weeks' time. See you then. See you then. Take care, everybody. Bye.